This is Joe Golden of Chaos to Clarity, and I'm back today with the second installment of our series on LinkedIn for job seekers and professionals. Today we're talking profiles. We are talking about some of the main components that go into your LinkedIn profile. We won't cover everything that's on the page right now because there's a lot of information there, but what we will do is cover the basics. So what I want you to do as you're thinking about this is to make notes either on a separate piece of paper on hard copy or in another word processing program so that you create a document where you start keeping track of the information that you need to collect, the type of topics that you want to talk about, and get started on the ways that you talk about them. The reason this is so important to do in a separate document is that LinkedIn could have problems with their website. You could lose your internet connection, you could accidentally close your browser page. In all of these cases, all your hard work would be lost. So please start with a separate document and be more in control of how often and frequently you save, and make sure that it's right there on your computer where you can be in control of it. Then later you can copy and paste it into LinkedIn in the appropriate places. Okay, so here we are on Ginger's profile page, and right at the beginning we see under her name her headline. Your headline is not a job title, but it is a description of what you do or what you want to do next, and it includes important keywords that will help people find you if they're looking for someone in your area or in your industry. So you want to make sure that you use keywords that people will search for and that apply to your experience. So in this case, I've put award-winning information management consultant, small business, nonprofits, and healthcare specialty. That will help people find Ginger if they're interested in looking for someone with those characteristics. It's also important because elsewhere on the LinkedIn site, if you fill in or participate somehow in an interaction, your picture and your headline will show up next to your participation. So you want to make sure that it is not only accurate, but that it's interesting so that people want to click on it and check out your profile, and you can expand your network that way, or at least expand people's awareness of you. So right underneath that, based on the zip code that you entered in the beginning, or in this case that we entered in the beginning, it shows up that she's in the Washington, D.C. metro area. And that is automatically generated by LinkedIn based on wherever you put your zip code. So if you're trying to work somewhere else, you might want to put a different zip code from where you are if you're in the middle of relocating. We also have professional training and coaching as the industry. So you want to make sure that you carefully choose your industry. LinkedIn has a list of 50 or so, I don't know, it's a whole lot, of different industries that people are associated with. So you want to look through them carefully and choose the best one to meet your needs. It may not be the last one you worked in, it may be the one that you want to work in next. So do pay attention to that, and also pay attention to building up your profile to support what it is that you say that you do, both in your headline, in your industry, and right through your LinkedIn profile. Moving on down, we have the current and past positions. If at all possible, you should include at least one in each. If you're not working now, then you can find a descriptive way to talk about what you are doing, whether it's volunteer work, whether you're working on a manuscript, or whatever the case may be. Find a way to say what you're doing now, and then include relevant past positions, not necessarily the bartending job you had in college, unless that's relevant to this particular profile that you're building. So you want to be very careful about what you put in terms of the descriptions of the jobs and the dates, because accuracy is important. People will judge you on that. So you're going to include your websites, and I want to talk a little bit about how the website functions works. Right here you can see that I have Chaos to Clarity LLC website. I have put that in myself. I have done that by going right here where we have choose your description. I went right down to other at the bottom, and you can see it says other up here, and then I got to name it what I wanted to do it. Instead of naming it my website, I got to name it Chaos to Clarity LLC website, and that's a lot better because it actually tells people something and they know what they're clicking on if they go there. If you were to search LinkedIn for my website, you would find gazillions of profiles listed because a lot of people just leave that at the default. But having watched this, you will be more clever and you will be more descriptive and you'll put something else in there. Now, you also have the opportunity to point people to other places where you have a web presence. So maybe it's your delicious bookmarks, maybe it's your Facebook profile if you're using that professionally. Whatever it is that you do on the web and where you want to be seen professionally, you want to connect those different places because that helps increase your legitimacy. So you point Facebook to LinkedIn, you point LinkedIn to Facebook, Twitter, the same thing, all with the different accounts you're using professionally. You have the opportunity to add interest, and you want to add, and the examples will show you, you want to add interests that relate to your job, but also that help show what you're all about and round you out as a person. You also want to put in groups and associations you belong to, as well as honors and awards, because that's really going to help people understand who you are. As we scroll down, we pass summary and specialties, and we're going to talk about those more next time, so I'm not going to get into that here. Applications and recommendations are more advanced, so we will not cover those today either. I've mentioned that you should make sure that you fill things in about your education. I also want to say that if you didn't go to university or didn't go to college, that's not as big of a deal as long as you're putting in the education that you do have and you are being accurate about your dates and consistent about what you know, because you really need to let people know where you come from. And if other people, say from your old high school, are on LinkedIn and want to try to find other folks, then you might be able to connect with them and that might benefit you professionally. So please do fill that out thoroughly because that will help your profile in the long run. I also want to take you down here to personal information. Okay, additional information we covered up above, but the personal information is really important because you want to think about your privacy and your boundaries when you do this. So, for example, adding a phone number to your profile. Do not add your personal cell phone that you only use for family and friends. That's not going to help you out. You may, if you're looking for a job, have a specific phone number that you have people call for your job search, just as you may have a specific email that you like them to use to contact you about your job search. That's the sort of thing you would put in here. Many people are uncomfortable putting their home address in because it's a security issue. So instead, you can put in a business address and a business phone if you like. If you use instant messaging as professionally, then you can add your instant messaging name, but if you don't, or if you only use it with family and friends, then just leave it off because this is about your professional profile. You can choose to add your birthday. I wouldn't recommend it. There are still way too many banking and credit card sites that use birthday information as part of their system of security, so I would just not even worry about that. And I certainly wouldn't put my marital status because it is irrelevant to other people on LinkedIn, and I don't feel the need to share that. So pay very close attention to the boundaries you're setting, and then make sure that you treat people well when they follow the rules you set. So if you come down here to contact settings, I know some people get upset by getting connection invitations and all sorts of things from LinkedIn when they really don't understand the system yet. But here is where you also get to choose how people can contact you. So you can accept introductions and in-mail only introductions, and then you get to tell people what kinds of opportunities you're looking for. And better yet, you get to give people advice about what they should know if they're contacting you. So you can tell them if you want them to email you. You can tell them if you'd rather have a phone call to phone you and then provide a number. But here's where you get to set your boundaries, and that leaves you in control, and it also lets you have more freedom because you set up the way you want to be dealt with. Then all you have to do is treat people kindly when they respond and reach out to them in turn. That concludes our quick and dirty introduction to LinkedIn profiles.